started. So for quadratic formula, when does the quadratic formula work? It works always. It always works, right? So then you might be wondering, like, Miss, why, if it always works, did you teach us all of those other ways that don't work all the time, right? And the reasons why are a few. Number one, this is a complicated formula, right? So sometimes it takes a long time. And I want you to have a faster way. There's a lot of room for error. So it takes time and there's room for error. But the reason why I still want to teach it to you is because it will always, always, always work. It doesn't matter what kind of equation you have, right? Doesn't matter what type of equation you have. I apologize for the lag, Mel. Is anybody else lagging? Not this morning. No. Okay, Mel. If you have any kind of lag, you might try turning, like logging out and logging back in, or you might try to live with the lag. I apologize. Computers are sometimes the worst. So, but they do allow me to talk to you guys, so I appreciate that. All right. So the quadratic formula works all the time. Why don't we use it every day? It's complicated. It takes some time. There's a potential for error, right? So we just want to be careful when we're doing it. All right. So the quadratic formula is that quadratic what you were just thinking about. So x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. I think I got it. Yeah. Anyways, that's a song. You don't need to like hear me sing it every time. The one that I use actually to sing it is like a little bit more annoying, but it's like x is equal to negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. And that is your concert for this morning. But anyways, the idea is that you have from your equation, you'll get a, you'll get b, and you'll get c, and you'll move those things to substitute them into the formula to solve, right? Annoying songs are more catchy. Yeah, Luisa Lena loves that song, so she sings it all the time. One of our seniors. I'm really glad that you're enjoying these concerts, guys. All right, so our steps are we're going to make sure the equation is set equal to 0. We're going to identify A, B, and C. We're going to take those A, B, and C, substitute them into the formula, and then we'll simplify to find the solution. Okay, so stay with me. We're going to make this happen. So we're going to make sure that it's set equal to 0. So I see when it says solve this equation equal to 0, it's already equal to 0. So I can kind of ignore that section there. So I'm ignoring everything else here. I just need this part right here. All right, so set equal to 0. We're going to identify A, B, and C. So the way that we identify A, B, and C is we say A, B, and C. They go in order. A goes with x squared, B goes with x, and C is the number by itself, the constant term, right? So we have A equals 6, because I see 6 is here. What would be the number that goes with x right here? What would be that number? You can privately message or come off mute. 1, yeah, 1, 1. It's the number 1, always imaginary in front there if you don't see it. So B is positive 1, so B equals 1. And C is negative 15. Notice I take the negative with me. Right? Because the 15 here is negative, that's the negative 15 is the whole C. All right, step 1, set equal to 0. We did that. Step 2, identify A, B, and C. We've got A, B, and C. Step 3, substitute into the formula. Okay, so I'm going to write down the formula. X is equal to negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Just like that. You're going to love that song by the end of the day. All right, so When I see A, I'm going to plug in 6. So for both of those blue spots, I'm going to plug in 6. When I see B, I am going to plug in positive 1. And when I see C, I'm going to plug in negative 15. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. I'm going to write negative B. B is 1 plus or minus the square root of B squared. B, remember, is 1 minus 4 times A, which is 6, times C, which is negative 15. So here's my C. Here were the two B's. And here is A. And then it's all being divided by 2 times A, which is 6. Take a moment to make sure you got that all written down. So now we need to simplify. And what I like to do in order to simplify is to think of this as 3 separate zones. So the first zone, right? The first zone is, let me see if I can do this here. The first zone is this part here, right? So that first zone is negative times whatever this is. So negative 1 would pop over there. That's what that first zone is going to simplify to. Plus or minus. The second zone is the whole square root, right? So everything under the square root. This is the second zone, right? So this zone here, I'm going to solve that in a second. And the third zone is the bottom part here, which is 2 times 6. The denominator, 2 times 6 would be 12. So 12 goes on the bottom here. So now I need to deal with the square root here. I'm going to go ahead and use a calculator. I'll just use decimals for now. All right. So I need to do the square root of 1 squared minus 4 times 6 times negative 15. So I know 1 squared is 1. And then I know negative 4 times 6 times negative 15. I don't want to do that in my head. So I'm going to go to my calculator. Negative 4 times 6 times negative 15 gives me positive 360. So I'm going to write plus 360. It's positive because it's positive, therefore it's a plus sign. If it was a negative 360, right, then I would be minus 360. So I have 1 plus 360, which I know is 361. So I need to do the square root of 361. So I'm going to go back to my calculator. The square root of 361 is 19. Is 19. So I know that this entire zone has turned into 19. Like that. Turned into 19. Right? I did 1 squared minus this. If you want to get real fancy on the calculator, you actually can just type in square root of 1 squared minus 4 times 6 times negative 15, and it will actually pop out that 19 right there. Fancy with the calculator. Cool. All right. So now I need to turn this into my actual answer. So I'm going to go ahead and erase this just to give me a little more room. So I have negative 1 plus or minus 19, all of that over 12. So this is 2 separate answers. We got negative 1 plus 19 over 12 and negative 1 minus 19 over 12. There are 2 available options. So I'm going to go ahead and write down both of those options. I'm going to write down negative 1 plus 19 over 12 and -1 minus 19 over 12. So we are taking the plus or minus and we're turning into one plus option and one minus option. Because that's what it means. It means we have two answers. So here I'm going to do -1 plus 19 would be 18 over 12. And -1 minus 19 would be -20 over 12. And then one more time, I want to use my calculator. 18 divided by 12 is 1.5. And -20 over 12 is -1.66666 forever. So I'm going to use the little hat. There. Yes, excellent. Emiliano and Gabby, great job in the chat. All right, so those are my two solutions. And if I want to check, there were a lot of process. And remember, Ms. Mack told us that we might get these wrong, right? We want to double check our answers. What we can do is go back to the original equation here, and we can type that original equation into Desmos. So I'm going to type in 6x squared plus x minus 15. And I can see this parabola shape, just like we were working at the very beginning. And I'm going to click on the two solutions where it crosses the x-axis. I'm going to say, oh, check it out, -1.667, which is what we got there. And I'll click on this one, which is 1.5. Yay, we got our two answers, right? So remember, every time we're working with the square, what we're really doing is finding the two solutions along the x-axis. All right, I need you to give me a grade thus far, right now. If you were going to give me a grade, like A, Ms. Mack explains that super duper well, and I totally understand what she's saying, all the way to F. I have no idea what Ms. Mack is saying. Can you give me a private? I'm going to go ahead and change this to private, grading me private. Give me a letter grade from A to F. B means like maybe it was okay, but you're still thinking about it. C is like, oh, I'm seeing some A's. Wow, you guys are so kind. All right. Okay. A few I wasn't here. A couple F's. I appreciate that. Thank you for being honest. Thank you. All right, thanks team. I'm gonna go ahead and send out this attendance one more time just in case you need it. Cool, okay, let's try another one then. If I'm a great teacher, then you guys can help me out on this one. All right, here we go. So the first step, can someone tell me what the first step is? First step.
Label them A, B, and C.
Yeah, well, first, Gabby's got me in the chat, and so does Nayeli. We need to make sure that it's equal to 0. You probably already saw that, Zephyr. It's already equal to 0, so we're good to go. So we're good with that. So now the next step is to label them A, B, and C. So I'm going to label A, B, C, like that. Nice. All right. So tell me in the chat, what does A equal? What does A equal?
-1.
-1, yes, -1. Excellent. What does B equal? +10 for sure. Yes, I see you coming off mute. Thank you so much. And what does C equal?
-25.
Yes, -25. Even with that internet, appreciate you. All right, so we've got our thing there. Should we do the low-key concert or the annoying concert to sing our formula? Annoying, yeah. Okay, here we go. X is equal to -b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Woo! Oh, sorry, Sam. Next time, Samantha, I'll do the low-key one, if I can remember it. All right, so we set equal to 0, we identified A, B, and C, we wrote out our formula. What is the next step? What is step 3?
Plug them
Plug them in.
Plug it in. Yeah, plug it in for sure. The setups, yes. All right, so I've got, wow, I didn't want to do that. I've got x equals negative b, b is 10, plus or minus the square root of b squared, b again is 10, minus 4 times a, which is negative 1, times c, which is negative 25, all over 2 times a, which is negative 1. All right, we have 3 zones. 3 zones here. I have x equals negative 10. I have 2 times negative 1, which is negative 2. So I'd say the first zone and the last zone are the easiest. So I just do those automatically so that I don't get mixed up, right? And then I deal with the shenanigans underneath the square root. In this case, I'm actually going to use my fancy calculator skills, right? So I already know that this is a 10. I know negative 4 times instead of 6 and negative 15, this is going to be negative 1 and negative 25. Huh, my answer was 0. Why does that make sense? I'm thinking here, I'm thinking that this would be 100, right? 10 squared is 100. And then 4 times 25, that's also 100. And we're subtracting it because I have negative times the negative times the negative would make a negative. So 100 minus 100, that would be 0. Oh, okay. So I have the square root of 0. What's the square root of 0? Just 0. Yeah, just 0. Yeah, for sure. So we have the possibility of negative 10 plus 0 over negative 2, or negative 10 minus 0 over negative 2. That's not going to change anything though, right, guys? If we add 0, we subtract 0, we're still just doing it with 0. So, okay, not a big deal. So I have my two possibilities here. So negative 10 plus 0 would be negative 10 over negative 2, which is going to give me 5. And then I would add negative 10 over negative 2, which is going to give me 5. So I have one solution here. My solution is x equals 5. If I am thinking about my graph or how to check my answer, you can remember that you can type it into your decimals, type it into your calculator, and you can check it out. And you can see it has one solution on the x-axis, has one solution, and that solution is at positive 5. Awesome possum, we did it. Amazing. All right. Give me a fist to 5 on how you are doing with this topic. So how do you personally feel like your learning is going for this topic? So like a 0 means I don't get this at all. Please keep helping me. A 2 is like, I think I'm starting, but I don't really know. A 3 is like, I sort of get it. A 4 is like, I think I pretty much get it. And a 5 is like, I get this 100%. Privately message me. What are you? Cool. I see some 3s, some 4s, some 5s. A 4.5, so specific. I love it. 3s, 4s, 5s. Okay. If you're a 5, I want you to take on this problem on your own. So if you're a 5, go ahead and take on C on your own. If you're a 4, you can try it on your own, see if you get mixed up. If you are a, I don't think I saw any 1s or 2s, but if you're a 1s or 2s, stick with me. But if you're 5, I want you to try it on your own, go for it. Come back if you get mixed up. If you're a 3, do it with me. We're going to solve this one here. My first step is to set equal to 0. Set equal to 0. How could I do that? I need this side to be equal to 0 over here. So I'm going to go ahead and add 5. Yes, thank you in the chat. Appreciate you. X squared plus 2x plus 5 equals negative 5 plus 5 equals 0. Like that. Awesome. So I have my equation. My second step is to figure out what A, B, and C are. So I have A, B, C. Ooh, a little laggy there. Sorry, y'all. So A is 1, B is 2, C is 5. So we have, as promised, the low-key concert, my last concert of the day. Negative B plus or minus the square root of B squared minus 4AC over 2A. Wow, I can't write as fast as that song. I love it. All right, so I've got my formula. Need to plug it in. All right, so I'm going to plug in negative 2 plus or minus the square root of 2 squared minus 4 times 1 times 5 over 2 times 1. Doesn't work so well with the numbers. But I took out B, plugged in the number, took out A, plugged in the number, took out C, plugged in the number, into the bottom. All right. So I have negative 2 plus or minus the square root of 2. So I did this first zone right here, second zone right here. Now I'm going to do this part here. I get 2 squared minus 4 times 1 times 5. So 2 squared would be 4 minus 4 times 1 times 5 gives me a negative 16. Square root of negative 16. Yes, thank you for helping me out in the chat. What happened? Does anyone remember from last week? What happened, or from Tuesday, I guess? What happens when you have the square root of a negative number? If I try to type it in a calculator, what's going to happen? Yeah, undefined, right? If I do square root of negative 16 like this, it's undefined. Yeah, which means, Brandon and Antoine, exactly, and Nayali, it means no solution. It means it's going to have 2 imaginary solutions, but it's going to have no real solution, right? So when I get to the square root of a negative number, I can remember, oh yeah, a square root of a negative number means that I have no real solution. I want you to use that word real in there because there are technically 2 solutions to this problem. They're just imaginary, which we'll deal with in a little while. But there are no real solutions. What is this going to look like on the graph? Any ideas? Let's check it out. X squared plus 2x equals negative 5. Yeah, it's not going to show. That doesn't show, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and let's do not this version, right? But usually we graph this version, the one that's equal to 0. So let's graph that one instead. So we'll do plus 5 like that. Oh, check that out, y'all. There is a parabola. It is definitely a quadratic. It just doesn't touch the x-axis. So it doesn't have any real solution. Remember, there were no solutions to problems like this. Right? Even if we kind of zoom in and look around, it's never going to touch the x-axis. So it's no real solution. Okay. Awesome. All right. Thank you for sticking with us. I know there was a lot of notes today. give me a 1 final time. Tell me, how are you feeling? Are you a 1? I don't get this at all. Are you a 3, a 5? I would like to see a number from everybody who's here. Everybody who's here. See some 4s and 5s. Cool. Cool. Thank you for being honest. Those of you who are putting out 2s, appreciate you. I do have office hours today at 3:30. Would love to see you there. 2s, 3s. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. Some not bad, some not confident. I feel that. Feel that for sure. We get more confident with our practice. So let's chat real fast about what our practice is going to look like today. I know that this is a lot. So there is just like one section. There's one section and then you just have your regular like checkpoint quiz at the bottom here. But there are your problems here. You are doing the exact same thing as Tuesday where you're dragging in the correct answer in there. And then you're going to show your work at the bottom. If you prefer IXL, there is an IXL option. You're more than welcome to pop into IXL if you would like to. But other than that, you guys can go ahead and get started today. You guys connect. You have IXL. So you have your assignment routine. Your notes are going to go here. And then you can either do IXL or the paper option, which starts right here. Right? You're doing option 1 or option 2. Yes, you do numbers 1 or 2. Is there an IXL support video? I don't think I have one, but I can find one and I can send it to you. I will include it in my like after class notes. So after I attach the video from class today. Yeah, thank you for asking for that. Good advocating for yourself. Appreciate you. IXL support for sure. I can do that. All right. Awesome. All right, team. That is the end of our class today. So I'll let you go about 1 minute early. Feel free to jump off or ask any questions, but appreciate you guys. I hope you got that song stuck in your head. Bye, guys. Bye, y'all. Bye, y'all.
Hi, Miss, I have a question.
Yeah, what's your question?
Okay, so you know how you said we can put the b squared minus 4ac in the calculator?
Yeah.
I did that and it says systematic error cancel go to. I don't know if you can see that.
Oh yeah.
Probably not.
Can you press the left or right arrow to go to do press go to?
Go to. What did I do? Hold up.
That's okay. Just show me what you typed in.
It like deleted my equation. I have to do it again.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it's
Type
like
it
back
in.
go to, and I don't know what that means.
Go to, it just means that you made a mistake. What probably happened is you pressed the negative instead of the minus, or you pressed the minus instead of the negative. That's usually what happens when you have a syntax error.
Oh, there's a negative. Oh, this would be the negative sign, huh?
Yeah.
Like right there.
Yep. So use that
so
negative in the
I'm
parentheses.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Miss.
No problem. You got it.
Bye-bye.
Okay. See you later. I saw another question in the chat here. Amy, I think you're still with us. What happens when you're finding a radical of a number gives you 2 radical 27? Oh, Amy, on your calculator, you probably have a button. You probably have a button that has like 2 arrow signs that are like facing opposite directions. If you press that button, it'll turn it into a decimal. You just have a fancy calculator that's like simplifying the radical. And so your calculator is like doing a little extra for you. Does that make sense? If you're running into that problem, I would just use Desmos if it's like totally messing you up. Yeah, for sure. It's just simplifying your radical for you. Yeah, definitely. Cool. No problem. See you later. Hello, everyone.